first circle of intimacy is us with ourselves, with our own experience. I actually think there's one before that, and that it is anyway for me in my life, which is my relationship with, call it what you want. I don't want to trigger anything by using the word God, but my relationship with God, you can call it truth or love or awakening or consciousness. For me, that informs everything, right? And it's possible for that to inform everything, that relationship, that willingness to surrender into what's true, like fiercely true, and loving. Love. How is love expressed? And then the next relationship is us with our own experience. So throughout this course, we've talked about inside out, right? Coming from the inside out, very relevant to interactions in relationship. So we're not just out there pleasing or reacting or, trying to get our point across or whatever it is. We come from the inside out, which means we include our own experience. So there's a field of relating. And the more that we can include the other, ultimately there's no other in the sense of oneness, but in the human realm of relating, there's the other, right? The one we're relating to. So how many times when we're speaking, we're in our heads, we're in our patterns, we're in our needs, and we're really not relating to the other person, we're relating to our own minds. We're not fully aware of them, right? And it happens in listening too. Someone's speaking to you and you're in your head thinking about the next thing or distracted or reacting or whatever, you're not actually seeing them. Everyone is vulnerable, everyone, no matter how together they look. That's been a thing in my life because I tend to look really put together and I am in a certain sense, but that doesn't mean there's vulnerability there. There's not vulnerability, there is. Yeah. So for me, it's been a path to sort of let that be integrated. Yeah. So everyone you speak to and relate to, there's a whole history. Whatever it is for you, they have that too. And that's where we kind of meet in the tenderness of the human condition. So there's no should around this, like, oh, well, I should know that every time I'm in conversation with someone. That's, you are or you aren't, like, let's throw the shoulds out. And as we throw the shoulds out about how we should be, let's open to possibility and to invitation. There's a bit of a catch-22 around change, where when we realize, oh, I've been relating to people according to my conditioning, and then there can be shame around that, or guilt, or I should do it differently, or that whole thought pattern, that identity that many of us hold and can go into. And it's not useful, is it? It just takes you down the rabbit hole of suffering. So instead, we find the resilience inside. We find the fire for truth. We find, we stay with the possibility of what can be different. And we let ourselves experiment with that and be open to that. Because that mindset of shame around not being able to do it better, it actually cuts down it just shuts the door on the possibility of change, of actual change. And change being more and more integrating our understanding of truth, of consciousness, of true identity, of our essence, of the oneness of all, the unity, letting that inform all aspects of our lives and our beings. So again, coming back to self-compassion, compassion, being very kind to ourselves. We're not going to do it perfectly. I can tell you that with a guarantee. And it's okay. It's okay. We do our best. And in the past, whatever you've done that might trigger shame or guilt or whatever, you've done your best. You've done what you could do at that level of consciousness that you're at that point. You've done your best. And maybe now you do differently. I don't know. Or sometimes you do differently. But you open to the possibility with care and tenderness for yourself. So today we're going to reflect on the possibilities for bringing more aliveness into our relationships. And that's a big, kind of a big topic, our relationships. And really our relationships consist of moments, that's all. So we don't have to change the whole relationship. We focus on the moment that we have right now because that's the only time we can do anything about anything. And we see like, what's here now? What's happening in me? What are the tendencies? We tend to have very conditioned, embedded tendencies in relationship. Like anybody in any kind of long-term relationship with a parent or a child or a partner or whatever, you know the script, right? You can probably write the script in the troubled times that you get into. So we want to bring a freshness to that in our own, it starts with our own experience, bringing freshness, which means we recognize the patterns, and when we have enough awareness, we don't act on them. We do something different, which might be staying quiet or saying something differently or taking a break to gather ourselves. Or, there's a million different tools that can be brought to bear on a situation like that. But the point is about bringing freshness into it so we have the possibility of not repeating the same patterns over and over. We know where they get us. Yeah. And so there's always, 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 which is what I absolutely love, always the possibility of something new and fresh. Every moment is a new beginning. Every moment, and you start where you are. So, and if there's a truth, it's not just like a new age thing to say, there's a truth to that, because consciousness is timeless. It just is. It's always fresh. And there actually isn't anything. We talk about the moment, and I talk about it a lot. It's just a way to talk about something. There's no moment, because a moment is like a thing that's a slice in time. It isn't. It's the continuity, the unfolding, the continual unfolding of life.